Now is Mark Salter. He's a longtime friend, advisor, and speechwriter to Senator John McCain through John McCain's time in the Senate and both of his presidential bids. Salter is also the co-author with McCain of their new book, The Restless Wave. Welcome to Face the Nation.
Thanks for having me on.
How is the senator
He's doing all right. He's hanging in there. He's working on physical therapy, trying to get stronger and staying engaged with his staff, and he's doing well, thanks.
He's still keeping his eye on politics?
He is, reading the papers, watching the news. I suspect he's watching this today, so I'm a little nervous about it.
Well, in the book, which I read, the senator talks about a number of things. He's very reflective.
Yeah.
But he highlights immigration and the failure to get reform through as one of his bigger regrets. And he talks in particular about what's happening right now within the Republican Party. And the lack of progress, he says, is really being manipulated. He says there's an anti-immigration faction of the GOP. They need to be confronted, not ignored or winked at or quietly dismissed as kooks. They need to be confronted before their noxious views spread further and damage for generations the reputation of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Can that be saved at this point?
Oh, I think so. It's as a social problem, it's not the biggest, most difficult problem to solve. I think we all know how it should be solved.
But those words were written before this latest controversy with the
and he was, as he released a statement with, separating. He finds it appalling that families are being separated, and it's wrong. There are people, the people he was referring to in that comment or that passage of the book, were people who look at this country and think it's based on tribes and not ideals, and that's what he was getting at there.
Who is confronting those people right now?
Not enough people. I think we can name names if you want. Steve King, for instance, who keeps writing about as if it's American citizenship is some kind of racial purity test.
The congressman.
The congressman from my home state of Iowa. I'm sorry to confess, but.
So you need more people like Senator McCain, you're saying?
You do, and there are quite a few of them. Remember, we passed a comprehensive immigration bill in the Senate in 2013, I think, that passed by 68 votes. It was blocked in the House when the leadership decided not to bring it up because the Freedom Caucus didn't like it. There were plenty of Republican votes for it there and plenty of Democratic votes for it there. And that's how big social changes have to be affected in this country in a bipartisan way. And that's what he would hope would happen with this.
Some of what you're talking about in regard to that identity crisis or that fight within the party right now surfaced again with a man you know well, Steve Schmidt, who ran the 2008 presidential bid for Senator McCain. He's actually renounced his membership in the Republican Party.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But you're not ready to go that far. No,
I still think of myself as a Republican. I'm not happy with the Republican Party. I don't think the Republican Party ought to be the party of Trump, and I certainly identify with former Speaker John Boehner's remarks that right now the Republican Party seems to be a little asleep over here and taking a nap, I think he said, and we're the party of Trump. I don't consider myself in the party of Trump.
But practically speaking, what does that mean for people who may think of themselves as Republicans when they look at voting in November?
It depends, not to walk away, I think to fight. Well, I'm not criticizing Steve, he's free to do it. I'll stay a Republican. I may not be voting for a lot of Republicans at the moment, but I consider myself one and hope the party would restore itself to sort of a free trade, low tax, small government, democratic internationalist, strong defense, all the things that made the party in the, say the party of Reagan. That's what I would hope others would work to do. And some people may think that to save the party of Lincoln, you have to destroy the party of Trump. That may be true, but.
And that means voting Democratic?
Well, let me speak for myself. I'm not speaking for my co-author.
I am.
It may, and I think the Democratic or the first branch of government, the Congress, needs to do its oversight of the executive branch, and never more needed than with this particular executive branch. And it may take one House of Congress falling to the Democrats to do that, because while I think the Senate is still discharging its responsibilities in that way, I think fairly effectively, if not as noticeably, in the House. The stuff that's gone on in the House Intelligence Committee, they're not taking their oversight responsibility seriously.
Is there anyone you see right now as sort of the standard bearer to pick up the mantle of Senator McCain?
Oh, I think there are a lot of people in the Senate. It doesn't get any attention because it's not newsworthy. But if you look at his committee, which is really the proudest service he's ever rendered as his chairman of the Armed Service Committee, it meant a great deal to him, continues to mean a great deal to him. It does its job every single year without fail. It passes the defense bill, often controversial elements in it, but it almost always passes unanimously. It just did again. Goes to conference with the House Armed Services Committee, which does its job, and they work out their disagreements and send a bill to the president. That goes on every single year, while other committees haven't. There are still, pockets of normalcy in the Senate and in the House too, where they do their work.
Pockets of normalcy.
Yeah.
All right.
These are odd times, but.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show.
Good to be on.
We will be right back.